Logan is playing what looks like basically Jerry's list from the Invitational, Shardless Bug. I'm not familiar enough with Jerry's list to know if he changed anything. I know it doesn't look like many of the card choices are any different. He has the one main deck Maelstrom Pulse that I know Jerry was pretty happy with. And beyond that, his sideboard looks far and away the same.
Yep. Jensen leads off with an Underground Sea again in the deck to facilitate Thoughtseize.
Turn 1 Vision.
This is a matchup that I talked to Jensen. He feels very comfortable playing.
Sure.
He likes his matchup, generally speaking, against sort of random control decks.
Yeah. Post board, he has access to Leyline of Sanctity, which is a huge backbreaker against Bug because they lean on almost exclusively discard and Force of Will to stop you. Like that's like the only thing they can do.
Yep.
Baleful Strix starts the beatdown. Baleful Strix, capable of blocking an Emrakul, but if it comes to that, you've usually got bigger problems.
Yeah, and you need quite a few permanents to survive the Annihilator trigger to begin with. So it appears from what I saw in his hand, Logan actually has a Force of Will to defend himself.
Yeah.
Unclear if that's going to be sufficient, but...
Huey, it looks like he has 2 Force of Wills, but no other blue card?
Correct, he has a Tarmogoyf and some lands.
Huey looks like has a Force of Will and lands. And I didn't see much else beyond that. City of Traders among those lands, though, so he can, threaten to turbo out some nonsense.
Michael Burnett.
Huey fetching for a Volcanic at the end of the turn.
Michael Burnett at the front stage.
And we'll see. This could be usually this stage of the game signals that there's about to be some fireworks.
Yeah, that definitely is a possibility. Up, I see. Yeah, he's got plenty of cards there. He's got Show and Tell and an Emrakul, I believe, with a Force. Does he have another blue card? Because if he does, it would be very difficult to dissuade anyone from trying it. Draws a Sneak Attack.
Zach Jones, Rob Birdsall, and Connor Birdsall.
Looks like he's short the extra blue card, but has everything else, including a Sneak Attack and Bristlebrand.
Well, he can just, if that's the case, he can just go City of Traders, Sneak Attack, and go for the win next turn.
Right.
The Bug deck with not a lot of ways to get out from a Sneak Attack in play, possibly a Maelstrom Pulse in the deck, but...
He's going to go for the show. I agree that I would probably want the Sneak here, especially considering, you don't necessarily know exactly what Bug deck your opponent's on. Maybe they have Lilianas. Jerry has recently, championed this particular version, but, people will add whatever cards they add.
Yep. A land for Logan, so left with just Tarmogoyfs, it looks like, and some lands.
He's going to go ahead and play that Tarmogoyf and cross his fingers that Huey has nothing else, but as we know, Huey has lots of other stuff.
The question is if Jensen has the second red source.
Looks like he might be light here. Yep, just puts the Sneak Attack into play. One of the other upsides to going Sneak Attack first is that you can threaten Show and Tell and a Sneak Attack activation at the same time.
Yep.
Not necessarily a big deal, but it could certainly matter. Logan plays his draw step, Deathrite Shaman.
Holding the Strix back for D.
I guess he's crossing his fingers on Bristlebrand, pretty much then.
Yes.
That's the plan for that.
The 1 point probably doesn't matter too much. So I think that's reasonable to hold back there.
Sure. Huey, he does, I believe, have a Bristlebrand, and if I'm him, I'm probably pretty tempted to put it into play and draw to 7. No, he's going to Emrakul. I would be, hoping to hit that second red source, really get them, as it were.
Yep. So that's everything except the Strix.
And in before Ancestral Vision, which is perfect timing.
So Huey going to reshuffle. And then Logan has to hope to be able to reassemble and reapply before Jensen can find another one of his monsters.
Sure. Now, Huey's been playing this deck for several months now, like since the Vegas opened. So it's been kind of interesting to see his odyssey with it, as it were.
Yes.
Sideboard cards, colors, obviously, we see the addition of Thoughtseize here. He also has Jaces in the sideboard, which is a card people have played in the Archetype before, but it's not necessarily ubiquitous, I would say.
Right. So Huey Thoughtseize after the Emrakul, saw just a handful of lands. Ancestral came out, came off suspend, and Huey forced it. So we'll see if he's able to.
He's probably going to be able to pieceful this one together. That's my guess. If I did see a Gristlebrand correctly, then that's pretty clearly the go this time. But it looks like I did not. In fact, that was probably the Thoughtseize that we believe was the black card.
So Logan has found a Tarmogoyf, it appears. So
that's a clock.
Yep.
He's going to need to race it.
Jensen under the gun to find, like I said, another one of his monsters. I think he has another sneak attack in his hand.
Yeah. He needs to find a monster or cantrip his way into one. Both of those things, pretty doable. Good count.
Quick price check. I'm guessing it's 5.
That sounds about right. We've got artifact, creature, instant, sorcery, land. Oh, we got something. Ponder. Gotta love a sweat.
Yep.
Looks like another Ponder. Yep, Ponder, Petal, Sneak.
So he can take the Ponder, shuffle with the Tarn.
Yep.
Give himself a lot more looks.
Yeah, he's going to be basically just wash, rinse, repeating here. And any of them are pretty good.
Yep.
He still has enough life points to, sneak in a Gristlebrand and activate if he wants. He's a little gutsy.
Well, he can activate if he wants to. If he doesn't find Emrakul in the top 7, he can just attack.
Yeah.
I would assume find something in the cards he's looking at.
Ideally, there would be spells among the 7. He was running into trouble with that before, however, in his Las Vegas Open top 4, when a Gristlebrand for 7 did not necessarily reveal very many useful things.
And he just found Gristlebrand, it looks like.
He did. I imagine he's going to keep those 3.
Yep.
He's probably now moving on to thinking, like, how should I play this Gristlebrand? Do I want to play Activate? Do I want to just get him? I imagine play Activate.
Also noteworthy about Jensen's list, in contrast to a lot of sneak attack lists that I've seen on the open circuit, all 4-ofs in the main deck.
That is interesting. The combo deck's combo deck.
He knows what he wants.
Looks like he...
He's just going to use Gristlebrand as a blocker here. I saw them do this in his text match the other time. A lot of people don't even anticipate this being a thing that can happen. So he's going to abrupt decay the Goyf to prevent the block.
Yeah, I think this works out fine for Huey, obviously. He was looking for a 1 for 7, and instead he got a 2 for 1.
Right.
But he still's going to draw 7 because he doesn't have to worry about the threat. He accomplished his goal either way.
Yeah, he said a lot of people don't even realize that's a thing that can happen because they're so used to sneak attack just attacking.
Yep. We weren't discussing that play, but one of the other utilities of it is obviously utilizing your opponent's end step to keep the creature around, which is one of the ways to get around having access to only a single red mana, but needing 2 creatures.
Yep. And Logan, with his hand on his graveyard, already anticipating the concession, a concession shortly, I believe.
Yeah, he does not appear confident, I would say. But does Huey have an Emrakul? Can't really see. I know he has a cantrip or 2. It looks like. Yep, that's an Emrakul. That might be exactly what Logan needs to earn it. No? Just another Armageddon.
Yep.
Alrighty. Cleanse you.
I really haven't seen someone get hit this many times by an Emrakul. The first one is usually good enough. The second one is certainly good enough. Now,
it's very rare that you need to be attacked by an Emrakul for a 3rd time. Amusingly enough, I have not actually played against Emrakul that much in Legacy. I'm more used to playing it against it in Standard and Modern when it was legal in the former format. And it's a lot more beatable in those, in my experience. Significantly more beatable. Discards an excess sneak attack, the promo variety. If you're a fan of Leaping Lizards, that might be right up your alley. Huey forced to find a 3rd fatty. He does.
I think we just found an Emrakul number 3.
There are a lot of tentacles on that Emrakul.
And Jensen pretty easily wins the first game.
Yeah, he had to find multiple fatties, had to put it together a couple times actually against Logan's resistance, but did not find it difficult. And especially after the first Emrakul Connect, that really left Logan just kind of swimming for shore pretty hard.
Yep. So onto our sideboard here. I know that William is certainly bringing in his 2 copies of Jace and his 2 copies of Red Elemental Blast. Those are his go-to cards basically for any sort of blue control deck. Jace gives you a different, basically it's just another haymaker that you can resolve. Jace might as well be show and tell or sneak attack on a ton of boards. If you play on a stable board, you have a ton of inevitability, and you get to play a little more of a normal game, and it gives you a lot more durability against resistance. All the Thoughtseize and extra counter spells you should anticipate playing against the post-board games. Whether or not he goes to Leyline of Sanctity is a different question. Against a deck like Jund, Leyline of Sanctity is lights out. It's a little sketchier against decks that have both discard and counter spells because you can Leyline and they still have resistance. So I don't know if Jensen's going to move Leyline into his deck as well, but certainly Jace and Red Elemental Blast will be coming in.
Yeah, I know that at the Atlanta Invitational, we got to actually see this matchup in the quarterfinals with Jerry T on Shardless Bug and Philip Lauren on Sneak and Show. And Philip did bring in the ley lines, Jerry trimming, as he said in his article on the topic, his discard in anticipation of that, but concerned that could come back to bite him if Philip figured it out, sides the ley lines back out.
Yep.
So it really depends on how the Shardless Bug players sideboards, I imagine, as to how high impact the ley lines are. So I'll kind of be curious to see if maybe Logan read that article, knows what's up, maybe sideboards in anticipation. As far as his actual sideboard, the cards he does have, Liliana the Veil can create pressure against a deck that does need 2 cards in its hand in order to win. He has access to another Hymn to Torok, which would bring him up to 4 total. He has 2 Thoughtseizes. He already has 2 in the main, so that's 2 more. Does not have any Inquisition of Kozilek's, however. And he does have access to 2 copies of Sower of Temptation.
Sower of Temptation with the potential to be awesome if show and tell is the route Jensen goes to get his creature to play.
One of the powers of Sneak and Show, obviously, and especially Jensen's list, he can put in a sneak attack, he can put in a Jace with, just lands. So those are 2 cards that Sower of Temptation is incredibly ineffective against, but should Huey, cast show and tell, hoping to put an Emrakul or a Gristlebrand in, Sower of Temptation will make that really awkward.
What is also noteworthy about all those sideboard cards that you mentioned, with the exception of Sower of Temptation, is they're all in the crosshairs of White Leyline.
Yep.
So even if White Lane isn't particularly good against Logan in game 1, theoretically, if you could add Leyline to your deck, it wouldn't necessarily be that excellent there. If Logan is sideboarding that way, Leyline certainly becomes much better in the post-board games.
Right. That's actually, the bug decks tend to just really heavily lean on discard spells because that's the best way for them to be able to fight combo decks like Sneak and Show and Storm and even Dredge all at the same time. Those cards, everyone has something key that you don't mind Thoughtseizing out of their hand on turn 1. Him being incredible against Storm. But you can really get punished when your opponent has access to something like Leyline or can just sidestep you.
Yes. It's pretty cool to see when I've seen so many Sneak and Show lists that are, 1 Flusterstorm, 2 Spell Pierce, a Misdirection, etc., etc. Just seeing, yep, we have 10 4-ofs.
Yeah,
these are the cards that are good game 1.
I see that Huey also has access to Through the Breaches. I imagine that's mirror technology, right? When you have to bring out those show and tells?
Yes, or matchups where you are not under duress. I think against decks like Burn Through the Breach is also reasonable because they're not going to be countering your stuff. So you just want
more nut draws.
Right.
Okay, that makes total sense. Creeping Tarpit versus Fetchland to start things off. Logan, nothing on 2. Looks like he did bring in Liliana. We see it in his hand.
He's just drawing a Thoughtseize. He also has Charlotte's Agent he could cast this turn, so a lot of options.
Yeah, it's tempting to play any of them. I think I would probably want to go with either the Liliana or the Shardless Agent for the sake of mana efficiency. Tapping out for Liliana, obviously, pretty scary when you could just die.
Yeah. Playing just the Thoughtseize here is rough just from a mana efficiency standpoint, but any of his 3-drops could definitely result in just instant death if Huey's hand's any good at all.
Yeah, I would probably want to go with the Shardless Agent, hoping my opponent would capitalize on my tapping out with a show and tell instead of a sneak attack, and that way I can resolve Liliana the Veil on the next turn, just kill whatever they get.
Yep.
With Thoughtseize backing it up.
So Shardless Agent finds a Brainstorm. Brainstorm finds a
Lands.
Charlotte's Agent and 2 more lands.
Charlotte's Agent also obviously a clock, which is what you need in play against a combo deck. Otherwise, they can feel free to just assemble on you as many times as possible.
Yeah.
Shardless Bug, one of its strengths is in post-board games. Jerry said that, in fact, he felt like he was behind in most game ones with the deck, but really liked how he could sideboard to make his deck perfect. And one of the keys to that is definitely Shardless Agent. Once you, say for this matchup, remove things like Abrupt Decay and can only cascade into, Hymn to Torox or Thought Seizes,
Yep.
or Brainstorms, as we just saw, that's way better.
Yes.
Huey draws a Show and Tell.
So now, does he want to put Logan to the test here? See an Ancient Tomb.
Looks like he's going to go for something else.
Yeah, Sneak Attack.
Sneak Attack. That is the safer option. Yeah, he knows if that resolves that Logan's probably just not able to defend himself through counter magic. However, Logan knows my opponent plays Sneak Attack. I got to start Thought Season.
Yeah.
Huey appears to be considering potential response. I think he has a Force of Will, it looks like. Yep.
Yep.
Force pitching blue card.
Probably Show and Tell. I would be
I would
guessing.
assume. Once you have a sneak in play, you don't really need another one. And Logan goes for Shardless Agent number 2. It's a Death Rate Shaman.
Really needed that to be him or Thoughtseize. And now Logan may not get another turn.
Yep. It is worth noting he actually cannot keep in enough permanents to really unavail or anything.
There it
so
is.
That'll do it. Yep. Huey had double the fatties he needed.
If you want to know why Huey likes that deck, you just got to click on it. It's like, this is just what it does. Huey Jensen, 2-0, probably in a position to draw next round.
Likely.
Now, again, he did pick up a loss in round 1, so his breakers are probably towards the end of it, but we're kind of on the short side attendance-wise for 9 rounds.
It's true.
So it's potentially